Hi everyone, it's May 21st, 2020, and welcome to a Trumbull Public Schools Distance Learning Update. I'm Jonathan Budd, Assistant Superintendent of the Trumbull Public Schools, and I'm joined again today by Christina Hefele, our Director of Digital Learning. And later in today's broadcast, we're going to be joined by two of Trumbull's phenomenal teachers who both are using video in their classrooms for distance learning and also helping to professionally develop other Trumbull teachers on this important topic. In fact, we're going to devote all of today's broadcast to this topic of the use of video for distance learning. And we've talked about two things: the use of recorded video and the use of live video. So, Christina, we talked just a little bit in our last broadcast about some of the reasons why a teacher might use recorded video for distance learning. Can you give us a little reminder of some of those main ways a teacher might use it?
Yes. So it's been great. We've been seeing teachers use it to read stories to their children. So a lot in elementary school where they'll read a story to children, they'll actually stop with a question, ask the kids to pause the video, reflect on a particular topic. At the upper levels, we often see teachers doing mini lessons where they'll deliver a piece of instruction on a topic around a math concept that the students are just learning, so that, again, the students can actually rewind the video and review the concepts as they're trying to complete the work at home.
And how have we helped give professional development to our teachers, over 600 teachers in our district, on the use of recorded video for distance learning? So
I'm happy to say we've had about 450 teachers throughout the district participate in professional development on the use of recorded video. We've taught them to use a couple of different tools, and then they kind of select the tool that works best for them. And as part of that professional development delivered by our technology integration specialists, they also work with teachers on best practices. So how to use it in the curriculum, where does it make sense to do sort of that asynchronous learning with students.
And then we've also talked about live video for distance learning and how that can accomplish some different things. So why would somebody maybe choose to use live video for distance learning?
So we see lots of examples of using live video, what they really call synchronous learning with students, for things such as office hours. So teachers will often say, I'm going to be available for this hour if you can drop in and ask a question. We also see teachers who are using it to sort of bring a class together, to talk about a concept. We've seen some examples at the high school level where you might be reading poetry together or reading a script together. We also see it used, we have a bunch of pre-K teachers who are trying it out right now with 3- and 4-year-olds, and they're getting on for 10 or 15 minutes to see each other and sing a song, but really to build both that personal connection as well as to sort of support that learning.
And I know we've been also developing and giving many professional development sessions on the use of live video for distance learning. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, so in just a little over 2.5 weeks, we've trained about 400 teachers throughout the district on the use of live video and instruction. And again, our tech integrators, along with some pilot teachers at the elementary school, you'll hear from one of them later on, have really worked to not only teach teachers about the tool, but also teach them about the best ways to use it and how it can help support their instruction and help support students even from a social emotional learning perspective.
Well, one thing that occurs to me as you're talking, Christina, is very, very few of our Trumbull teachers had the need to use recorded video or live video in their instruction prior to the closing of schools for COVID-19, because we rely typically on the rich interchanges between live teachers and live students. So to hear that between recorded and live video, we've had nearly 900 participants in our district in professional development sessions speaks a lot to our community's support of really pushing the envelope and trying to find the best teaching techniques for all students. The other thing that's very exciting, among other things, is that we have had teachers in the district step up to the plate and learn about tools to teach their colleagues, which is really the best way for people to learn about integration of any new teaching strategy. So for the remainder of this broadcast, we're going to hear from two of our Trumbull teachers who have taken the lead at giving professional development over the computer to their colleagues. The first is Kory Buswell, who is a teacher at Frenchtown Elementary School, and the second is Michaela Durand, who's a technology integration specialist at Madison Middle School. And so, Kory and Michaela, we really, on behalf of the district, thank you very much for what you and your colleagues have done. And we want to hear your honest thoughts on these questions. The first one might be this. I think many in the Trumbull Public Schools, Kory and Michaela, may know who you are, but certainly many do not. So could you briefly introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about your work in the Trumbull Public Schools?
Hi, my name is Kory Buswell, and I have taught at Frenchtown Elementary School since 2008. Since being there, I have enjoyed exploring technology, and I have really enjoyed teaching kindergarten since the full day rollout. It's been super beneficial to see the growth of a child from when they enter kindergarten all the way to the end when they become super independent little learners that can have full blown conversations about what they have learned. It's been an extremely rewarding experience.
For the past 5 years, I have been the technology integration specialist at Madison Middle School. Prior to that, I was the tech integrator at Tashua and Frenchtown, and I was also a classroom teacher at Tashua Elementary School.
Thank you. Recently, you've learned a lot about live video for distance learning and have actually led professional development for your colleagues. What do you think is so valuable about live video for distance learning?
Live video for distance learning is extremely beneficial, not only to the teacher and the child, but also families. Being a teacher of young children, they need that interaction from teacher to child to support their emotional needs. It's one thing having, video clips that were already previously taped of the teacher and the children seeing it daily, to then being able to interact with them and just having little conversations about how their day is going and what their struggles are or what they're really succeeding in daily. It really brings back that rapport that is needed, especially speaking for the elementary grade levels. Kids seek our input and our how we react, our expressions, our thoughts, and they need that to help them get through their day, especially in the classroom. And now being at home, they need it more so ever than before. So it's a really great way for teachers to continue the rapport with their students, but also to continue the rapport with the families to keep the lines of communication open.
I think there are lots of things that are really valuable about using live video during distance learning. The first would be for teachers, especially at the secondary level, to offer extra help in this format. I find that a lot of times when working with a student who may be having a technical problem or just, confusion about something that they're learning, it's a lot easier to pop into a Google Meet with them and discuss because the feedback is immediate. And so the teacher can go into a Google Meet with the student and share their screen and right away explain, are you still finding this confusing? What can I do to help? And so kind of having that immediate feedback back and forth is something that is really beneficial. The other thing that I think that is so valuable about live video is the social emotional aspect of live video. I think that right now, so many students and teachers, we're all craving that personal connection. And live video gives the opportunity to have a little piece of that back. I have had the opportunity to train teachers from 3rd grade to 12th grade in live video over the past few weeks. And many times after I give professional development, the teacher will invite me to join their Google Meet in case they need some technical help, especially in those first few minutes of a meeting. And so for me, I have been loving attending these lessons because I get to witness what I call the magical moment, which is when all the students are first joining the Google Meet and they're all laid out in grid view, and you can just see their expression on their face when they join, and it's always just so much excitement. And I think that that is a really great part about live video is you're able to have that connection, see your classmates who maybe you don't usually communicate with during this time period. And so I think it's a great opportunity for the students and also for the teachers.
And besides what you've already mentioned, Kory and Michaela, how else are you and your colleagues implementing live video for distance learning?
So in K through 5, many of the teachers are using live video for multiple types of learning. So I could say for kindergarten, especially, we have, and I could say kindergarten through, preschool through kindergarten, first, second, we're really focusing on the social and emotional well-being of children, giving them the support that they need, having that interaction with their peers and their teachers and any support staff that they had in school to be live on a video. So lots of teachers right now in the lower elementary are using it for morning meetings. They are using it for desk hours. They are using it for one-to-one teaching, especially specialists. And they're really utilizing it to keep that communication open and just that fun and exciting banter that happens in the classroom to continue to happen to help their social and emotional needs. Now, also in the upper elementary grades, the teachers are also using it for mini lessons, for guided groups, for small group instruction, for extra help desk hours, teaching, having morning messages, morning meetings. They're using it in a variety of ways to keep that connection going while we're not meeting with children daily. It's so important for those kids just to, have those check-ins with their teachers to discuss what they're doing, what's working, what they might need help with, or just to say, hey, what did you do today? Or what's your favorite color? Things that they can see across their classroom and their classmates and how they all feel about different topics. It's been a great way to continue that rapport, like I said before, that we have with the students. And also, it now brings in the family more so with parents seeing how the children interact with their teachers and also seeing how the children interact with their peers on a different level than that's ever been set before.
Over the past 2 weeks, I have seen a lot of fun ways that my colleagues have implemented live video. One way is just in having the students come and join for fun. There is a teacher who's doing cocoa and conversation where the students just join the Google Meet with a cup of hot chocolate and have a conversation. There are teachers that are having students join and they're playing an interactive game such as trivia about the school, which a lot of students just enjoy the opportunity to come online. There's also lots of educational ways. Teachers are doing intervention groups, small groups, literary circles, book clubs. The adaptive PE teacher I know is doing small group fitness through Google Meet. And one of my favorite things that I've really enjoyed seeing is how much the staff has really embraced teaching from anywhere. So they might be teaching about rocks in their own backyard and digging up soil and showing the students about it. And just the ability to have special guests in your class. I know a lot of the students and teachers have loved that the administrators can pop into their Google Meet and say hi. And I know the students are really having fun seeing where the teachers and the administrators and people live, just getting the opportunity, like I did this week, to see one of the teachers brought her dog to the Google Meet, and the students were really excited about that. So there's been lots of fun and creative ways that the teachers have been implementing live video.
We also have many teachers utilizing recorded video for distance learning. Can you say a little bit about the advantage recorded video can have for distance learning?
Recorded videos have multiple advantages, especially in the elementary grade level. Especially for kindergarten and first, when there could be lots of directions given to children either on their Google Slides or given to the parents in an email or in a classroom setting on the classroom for the Google Classroom. It could be a lot for them to read. And a video teaching the lesson, showing how it works, really helps the child understand the concepts that are being taught. So a lot of teachers are using WeVideo, Pear Deck, Flipgrid, Screencastify, things that allow the teachers to interact with the kids in a way that they can show them step by step what the expectations are. This way, it's clear and concise of how they can complete the task that's being asked of them. Especially like for math in the lower elementary that does not have Zern, to teach some of the lessons or to teach even some of the tools that are being used on the internet that they've never used before is difficult to explain through, say, a picture. But by showing them through a video using Screencastify, showing how to open up the tools, how to use the stamps, and or when you're on Raz Kids and showing them how they can put their own sticky notes in. It's quite amazing what they in return give to us. Um, I think that it has allowed for clarity, um, so that children understand what is expected, but also for the parents, because this is a hard time for parents to understand that how to teach their child. This is not what everybody signed up for. This is a difficult task for every single person in the world right now. And by having these videos, I think it gives some clarity um, to how we can be successful at home teaching our children.
There are some really huge advantages to utilizing recorded video during distance learning. One of those is just the ability to watch the video whenever you want to. Students all have unique home situations that vary, and so recorded video gives the student the opportunity to watch and re-watch the video whenever they want. One thing that I think is really great about the recorded videos that the teachers are making is that the students are able to slow them down or speed them up or add captions or take notes and have the video open on one device and be doing something on another device. And so having the ability to absorb the content at their own pace and whenever they want is a huge advantage to recorded video.
And I know you may want to speak about, from the parent perspective, your own children who are distance learning. Anything from the parent perspective that you'd like to share with those watching?
Distance learning from a parent's perspective is difficult, completely difficult. I don't know how else to say it. Because I have 3 children on my own. I have 2 in Daniels Farm School. One is in 4th grade, one is in kindergarten. So for me to help the kindergartner, it's much easier because that's what I teach. But to assist the kindergartner and the 4th grader at the same time, making sure their work gets done, making sure it's getting handed in, and then also handle the 15-month-old that, is crawling on my lap while I'm trying to do my live Google Meets. It's very hard to handle and tackle all the situations. We've all seen those great, fantastic schedules that work so amazingly well, but then when you're put into that position, we're all going to hit hiccups. We're all going to have some blocks in the road. And what I think everybody needs to know is that we need to take our time. We need to breathe. We need to get the fresh air. We need to take those breaks to make sure that emotionally and socially, as a family, we stay united and together, and that we are there to help each other. And I think the teachers across the district, I know I can speak for myself and my kindergarten team, that we want to make sure that we are creating an environment that is not stressful. We want to make sure that we're creating environments where parents feel like they can reach out to us and ask us for help. I say every single day, remember, take your time, slow down, hand it in when you can do it, because there can be things that just arise in one day, and you know what, you might say we have to close down the computers today, and that's okay to do. We all need to know that taking our time, slowing down, but making sure we're getting the work in to help our children achieve and continue to grow in their learning is what's really essential. So, like for myself, I try to schedule my meets before my husband has to leave for work. So I'm home with all 3 kids, plus my own classroom, trying to get it all done. And, there are days where it's really stressful. There are days that things happen in my house that I'm like, oh my gosh, we have to clean up a lot today. Um, but know that every single parent is going through the same thing, whether you're a teacher whether you're in the business world, we're all going through it. And know that we are here to support each other during this time. And just know to take your time and breathe through it and really think about how you can actively help your child. Or sometimes, I use my older daughter to help the younger one out. Or I use my older daughter to help the baby out, or if I'm working with my kindergartner. Or there are times where the kindergartner will be playing with the baby while I'm helping the fourth grader out. And this way, at least there's still consistent help from me to my children, but also that everybody else is, still doing things that they can be occupied without interrupting the learning. And I can't say it works 100%. I can't say it works 60%, but I can say most of the time it works, and that helps us really get through our days. But like I said, take your time, take your breaks, get outside and receive that vitamin D that we all need, because that's what's going to help us get through our days. And know that the computer can always be turned back on when that break has been taken. And I'm sure all of us are there to support each other and parents during this time. So that's how I think from a parent's.
I have a daughter who is a second grader at Booth Hill and a son that is going into kindergarten next year at Booth Hill. And if I could think of any parenting advice, it would be, at the end of the day, if you have fed your children and they are healthy, then you've done a really amazing job. And I think that lately, the days and the weeks and the months, everything blends together in kind of a big mush. And I know as a parent, it's been hard for me to remember at the end of the day that if I have met so many of their needs, that I've really done a great job. And so you're doing a really awesome job in a really crazy time. So whatever you're doing to get by every day, keep doing it.
Jonathan, it's just been great to work with Kory and Michaela and so many of the technology integration specialists, as well as the teachers who have been part of this pilot on live video, really helping the district lead the way and getting more and more teachers comfortable with the use of live video. So thanks to them and their colleagues for all the work they have done.
Very much appreciated, yes.
Jonathan, is there anything else you need to share with us today?
Sure. As we go into the Memorial Day weekend, as we're taping the broadcast, let me just mention a couple of things to those who might be watching. Superintendent Iasagna sent an e-blast to the community yesterday on May 20th regarding our process for the retrieval from schools of student items that were left in the schools prior to our closing. These might be things left in student lockers at the middle or high school level, or things in student cubbies or desks at the elementary school level. And because there are a lot of details related to that, I would encourage you to go to our Trumbull Public Schools website, www.trumbleps.org, where you can see the document, read through it, and feel free to contact Superintendent Iasagna's office or my office with any questions that you might have. We'd be happy to assist you with this important topic of getting students' items back. The document also talks about how we will have a process to collect items from students who need to return them to us. Examples might be textbooks or library books, especially at the middle or the high school level. The second major update would be this. We want to remind everybody who is eligible to enroll a new student for the Trumbull Public Schools next year that we have moved to online registration through the Trumbull Public Schools website. Previously, we have used hard copy in-person registration, and we did that up through the middle of March. But we've transitioned now to an online system. If you have a child who needs to enroll in the Trumbull Public Schools next year, kindergarten kindergarten is a very good example, and you did not do a hard copy registration in person prior to our closing in March, I would ask that you go online through the Trumbull Public Schools website and register your child through our Google form. Somebody in our office will get back to you and confirm that everything necessary has been received. And the more requests that we can get in and process residency and age as early as possible, the more accurate our enrollment numbers can be for next year, which is very important to us. I want to close by saying that this Memorial Day weekend is a very different kind of one, but we, of course, want to pay many, many special tributes to those who have served our country well, to those who have really been voices of what our community wants and expects in terms of values. So for those who are not with us any longer and who we remember on this Memorial Day, the Trumbull Public Schools joins everybody in that remembrance. Next week, we'll be back with some more particular details related to end-of-year ceremonies, including graduation for the Trumbull High School class of 2020. So we thank you again for joining us. We could not do this type of work without the great support of all of those in this TV studio, all of those who do the editing afterward, and the support of all in the Trumbull Public Schools and the town of Trumbull community. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful Memorial Day weekend.